Hey gals and guys, it's your host Phil Larson, and this is your motivational high five on resentment. Let's do this. Hello, and thank you for hanging out with me for about 5 minutes, where we look at an aspect of life and we try to, get different views on it and equate it to our own life. I don't have all the answers, and really, this is a form of audio blogging for me. It's to get these things that have been in my head for a while out into the world, and it's helped me mentally. And I've heard from some of you guys who have emailed me that it's helped you process things as well. I read all of your emails, and when I find the time, I do respond, and I try to respond within that same week. And I got a couple this week, and it's been a busy week for me, so I'm sorry I haven't responded yet, but I do plan on doing that. It's important to me, and I feel fortunate to be let in on the things that you guys are going through and struggling with, and the realizations, the lessons you are learning and coming to grips with in your life. And it's an honor to be let in on that and to be a part of that. And thank you for hearing what I have to say as well. This is kind of you joining me in my process as well. So thanks for listening in. On resentment today, resentment is defined as bitter indignation at having been treated unfairly. And that's where I want to start. Have you ever been wronged in your life? And if you've probably held on to resentment. I know that I have, and I've used this other word, I've held a grudge. And first of all, that's okay. It's not wrong to feel miffed and to feel angered, because that just shows that we want justice. We want justice to be served. We want what's right. We have a moral compass. Because injustice leaves this feeling of a weight of what's wrong, and it's just heavy, isn't it? It's a load to carry. And hopefully when we let ourselves feel that and it propels us to good, healthy action, that propelling of healthy action would be to relieve that weight, to get it off your chest. So the weight of the resentment, I would hope, and I'm learning in my own life, would push you to seeking out a relieving of that weight by voicing it to whoever needs to hear it in a very healthy way that invites them into discussion on how you've been treated unfairly. But if you've held on to things for years, and I'm speaking from experience, that sort of weight has probably done some crippling damage. And the real dangerous part is that we have no idea because we've gotten so used to carrying that weight. And we've adapted to it, we've carried that weight, and sometimes we don't even know until something triggers it and it comes out in anger. The moment that we begin taking off this weight, things become uncomfortable. Even if we get an apology from the person who has wronged us, we may find ways to continue the blaming and the shaming. And why is that? Because the resentment has served us in some way. It has helped us feel justified. We've found comfort in that pain. We know it well, and we've become well acquainted. When we get to the point of realizing that this resentment we've become comfortable with, and we get to the point where we don't want it anymore, we have to grieve. Grieve, yeah, that sounds a little weird, but whenever we lose something that we've become comfortable with, even if it's unhealthy, there is a grieving process we have to go through. Because you're losing something that you become acquainted with, almost an actual acquaintance, a mechanism of comfort, a thing that served us well for a little amount of time for us to understand, this is injustice. But then something that we've held on and continued to serve us, maybe in an unhealthy way, but served us nonetheless for quite some time. And I'm not saying don't voice what's bothering you after all these years. In fact, maybe that's part of the grieving process. No, in fact, I am saying voice it all and trust those people or person, their capacity for healthy change or growth. Yes, even that person. Dare I say, hope for it. Because if you know in your own life that you are not the same person you were 4, 5, 6 years ago, then hope that maybe this person isn't as well. And the person that they were when they hurt you, maybe they've done their own journey of growth and health, and they're at a place now where you can bring your resentment, bring the things that you've struggled with, and hope and pray that they are at a place to hear it. And even if they're not, it is healthy for you to get it off your chest. Whether or not they apologize, it doesn't matter. You have to take care of you, and you can let go of your resentment even though they may not agree. There's a great quote from Hindu spiritual teacher Swami Shivananda that says, "Every human being is the author of his or her own health or disease." I think it's important to make a decision to take charge of our own mental health, which is to then separate the actions of others from the actions that we do for ourselves. So not dependent on their own reaction, you need to get something off your chest. And that is to help your health, not depending on whether or not they respond well or not. Now, there is a way to do that healthily and lovingly, and there's a way to do it harmfully. And so that's why I would implore you guys to speak with the people who offer wisdom in your life the best way in that individual particular situation to go about sharing these things to the person that you have a grudge towards. But do it. Decide to make action to relieve yourself of some unnecessary baggage you've been carrying. And at the end of every episode, we do this. We decide to take charge of our own mental health. And we do that by finding reflection of ourselves in a mirror, and we speak life. We speak positive and hopeful and things that we want to see happen, changes that we want to make in our lives. We speak it to ourselves, and we do this as a part. It's not the cure-all, it's not the fix, but it's part of rewiring your brain, as explained in through neuroscience and neuroplasticity. That's explained really well in my friend who's a doctor, a scientist, in episode 15. So if you haven't listened to that yet, I would encourage you to do that. But when you find some time today to find a reflection of yourself, will you speak this to yourself? Today, I could take a step toward relief of the weight of my resentments. And remember, resentments are heavy. And so addressing resentments is a thing not to be taken lightly. But I'm beginning to feel the relief of that in my own life, and I can tell you guys, it's worth it. It's hard work, but it's worthy work. And you got to decide for yourself, do you want that? It starts with you.